Hello, welcome back, Croeso, for another chat with Laurence. And while we were chatting, he just dropped into the conversation. I could see physical evidence around where he is for the Great Flood. Which flood? This is the question. Now, in Welsh history, we have, this is called the Cantref Gwaelod. Or actually, I've always known it as the Lost Cantref, because it's the part of Wales out, hang on, you can see a map here, hopefully. Here we are. It's a little bit bigger here. So this kind of area was land before, and then water's come in, and and it's been lost. That's why I call it the Lost Cantref or Cantref Gwaelod, which means the lowland. It's supposed to be the most fertile part of Wales, and the stories in the Mabinogi that someone left that didn't tend to the dikes that were keeping the sea out. You'll hear about it from Laurence, so I won't go too much into that. What I did want to talk about quickly was this part here, which I rather like, on Wikipedia. Just make sure you can see that. There is no reliable physical evidence of the substantial community that legend promises lies under the sea, although several reports exist of remains being sighting. I mean, it is 1,500 years ago. So you'll see there's a place there, you can see a fort, you can see a palace, you can see causeways, all these reports in the past. If you go there today at low tide, which I'm going to be doing soon, and it's filming, you can see stumps and preserves and stuff like that, but that's all been dismissed as being, like anything. If it can't be called Roman, it gets called Neolithic, or in this case, 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. And somehow it survived all that time. Maybe it's to do with the flood. I mean, there's ideas here. It might be a folk memory of gradually rising sea levels at the end of the Ice Age. So apparently these people could remember something that happened 4,500, 5,000 years earlier, but they couldn't accurately get the dates, and they got out by 3,000 years. Anyway, have a look. There's loads of stuff on there, and it's all quite good. So anyway, enough for me. Let's get you back to the start of the show, and on to Laurence.
If you look, you can see how, all around here you can see the shapes of old lakes. I live just over there, a few hundred yards away, and the place is called Mincin, which means edge of the lake. Mm-hmm. And below the school you can see the old lake. Now, when Cantref Gwaelod was flooded, covered by a tsunami, that same tsunami would have come all the way up the valley to here. It's only 30 miles, and we're only 300 feet above sea level. Mm. And it would have left lakes. And when you get a wet winter, they are lakes again. But in 537 AD, and I reckon that tsunami was about 498, or maybe 497 AD. Well, we can work that out because we've no Garin here as a ruler, and his son was Llyn. And Llyn was the man who found baby Taliesin, so we can start to get some dates here, you see. And also we have this story that Seithenyn the drunkard neglected his duty was to keep the dikes in order, and he neglected that. He was a drunkard,
and that's in the Mabinogi, isn't it?
That's why the sea invaded the land. And we have another piece of historical fact from the lives of the saints, the British saints. And I remember went to Penmachno Church up in Gwynedd. Lots of stones there.
Yes, I've got to go to that. Penmachno,
yes, lots of things
very
there.
High on my list, that is.
Carosius and so forth.
Yes.
Yep. Anyway, we'll stick to this story now.
Yes.
But at the back of the church that I was last there was a piece of paper written, I think in Welsh and English, recording, handwriting it was, recording that St. Tidclid, the saint, and it's not called Llan Tidclid, it's Penmachno.
Right.
But the saint there is St. Tidclid.
Tidclid, who's Tidclid?
Tidclid. Tuddy, or something like that. Okay. Look him up.
Tidclid.
I'd never heard of him before, but went to his church.
That's a new one on me, that is it?
Yeah, well, it was a new one on me. I was walking a lay,
walking
a lay, which was marked by crosses all across. It went over to Tudno of Llandudno, coming from the east, from Bangor or somewhere. But anyway, that's another story.
Okay. We'll look up Tidclid another time.
But the thing is, it recorded how he became a saint to atone for the misdeeds of his father, Seithenyn the drunkard. Therefore, he was a saint in the golden era of British saints, he'd have been born about 500 AD, wouldn't he? They all were in those days. It all happened then, all being born
the golden
like
generation.
Tudno,
Yes,
Samson and so forth. And he was the son of Seithenyn the drunkard. So therefore, he was atoning for his father's misdeeds. The tsunami, I reckon, happened around then, and I have reason to believe it was 497, 498.
Okay.
And I was born just after the tsunami in 498 when I
Right.
was Durval. But the reason for me telling you this is that there were lakes here, and hence Mintin, edge of the lake. And that was the lake nearest the battlefield, which I reckon Bedwyr threw Excalibur into.
Oh, right. I'll
We'll
give you
come
that.
to that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is
So,
wonderful how the British histories always seem to intertwine. You never come across
Yeah.
something that just doesn't fit, do they? They
No.
all correlate
It's
beautifully.
all there.
It all correlates, doesn't
Yes,
it?
you just got to be able to see it. There
you
must
never
be
get a dead
loads.
end or something.
I gave a talk once in Oxford. It was in Hertford College, Oxford University Arthurian Society. Oh, they were all so dead. They came with their textbooks. They knew it all, and they weren't really interested in what I
Yeah.
had to tell them.
Yeah.
And I must have been many an Oxford professor who's driven on that main A470 below Bryn Clwyfan. Well, if he did happen to look at his map and realise it was called Bryn Clwyfan, Hillside of the Wounded,
Wouldn't know what it meant
he wouldn't
anyway.
know what it
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
And he wouldn't even want to know. That's the pity.
It is
Because
very
they
sad.
all know that it's all a myth and King Arthur didn't exist.
Yes.